Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel and to some more slug testing today, but not the usual slug testing. I've got something really interesting that I want to start testing and see how it actually does. So by now you probably already read the title and know that we're going to be testing some 410 slugs. But for the load we're going to be testing out today, I got some of these. These are the Winchester Super X. They are a 410 3-inch quarter-ounce slug, going 1800 feet per second, but I do have the chronograph, so we'll see how close we actually get to that 1800 feet per second. Our setup we're going to be using today is the Mossberg 500 410. This is technically the turkey model, but it's not any kind of special backbore or overbore or anything like that, so we're perfectly fine to shoot slugs out of this. And I decided to throw in, or at least start with, an improved cylinder choke in this gun. That's typically what most slugs, at least in things like 12 gauge and 20 gauge and stuff like that, that's at least what they recommend to start with. So we'll start here and see what it can actually do. But as for our testing, we're going to be shooting two groups because I don't have a ton of these shells, but the way that I think I want to test it today is we're going to shoot one 5-shot group at 25 yards and the second 5-shot group at 50 yards. And of course, as you can see behind me, I do have the chronograph like I said earlier, so the shots will be across there so we can get our average velocity and our energy. So let me get you guys set up with a good view of the target. I'm not exactly sure where this gun is going to hit with slugs, but we should be pretty close to where we would want to be. So I'll get you guys a view of the target and a view of the chronograph, and we'll shoot our groups at 25, then we'll move back to 50, and then we'll glance at our chrono numbers and look at our energy and stuff like that, and we'll measure our groups and see what kind of performance these can actually give you. So enough talking, let's go over here and shoot them and see what they can do. Alright, so we're up at our chronograph, so let's take a look at what kind of numbers we got and see how they performed as far as velocity and consistency goes. So for our high, we had 1990. For a low, we had 1857. And for an average, we had 1923. The box calls for 1800, so we're a little bit over 100 feet per second above what the box claim says. But our accuracy clearly says something different down there on the paper. Alright, this is not at all what I was expecting to see here, so we're going to take a look at this, and I think we're going to make a shift today to test something else a little bit, since clearly this is not really working all that great for whatever reason. First off, these targets right here are 7 inches across, and clearly we have a group much larger than that. Now, these bigger slashes in the paper are just a little gas check piece or something like that, so we're not worried about those. But for groups, we had 2 that landed down here, low and right. We had 1 off to the left right there. We had 1 high up here, and we had 1 way up here in the top left. I don't even have a tape measure out here to measure that, but that's gotta be every bit of an 18-inch group right there at 25 yards. That is horrible. And all the holes look like the slugs were flying pretty stable, so that is really surprising. Alright, so like I said a minute ago, we're going to shift and do a little bit different of a test. But this just goes to show that the results that I show you guys are the realistic results. I don't hide anything. If it's a terrible result, I'm going to show it one way or the other. But this is just why we test things and see, because I would have never expected that group at 25 yards to be so terrible. So here's the deal. I went back to the truck and I threw back in this full choke that we've got. And now what I'm thinking is we shoot another 5-shot group at 25 yards, just like we did a minute ago, and see if the full choke makes it any better or makes it any worse or doesn't help it at all as far as our groups go. Maybe these 410 quarter-ounce slugs like that need a little bit tighter constriction to really stabilize them or hone them in to hold really good groups or something like that. I don't know. But either way, we're going to test it and see, since this is not at all the way that this video was planned to go. So let's get the camera set back up and shoot our 5-shot group again and see if the full choke makes any difference for us. All right, so we're up here at our chronograph for whatever it might matter in this scenario, but for a high out of that full choke, we had 1946. For a low, we had 1870, and for an average, we had 1900. So exactly 100 above what the box calls for. We were 123, I think it was, above what the box called for the last time. So at least it seems like relatively consistent results as far as chrono numbers goes, but let's go look and see how it actually performed down there at 25 yards. I still don't think it's all that great, but we at least need to go check it out and see how it did. All right, so we're back down here at our 25-yard target, and at least we did see some results. I wouldn't call them good results, but at least it's something. So I went ahead and marked all of our first group with little number ones there where they hit. Obviously we had 2 low and then 1 left and those 2 up there. But if we move over to our full choke now at 25 yards, it definitely improved, but it's still not very good. We had 1 right in the top edge of the target. There was 1 a little bit higher over here, and then the other 3 were up above over here. So maybe you can kind of get an idea of what's going on there. This 1 hit right in the middle there with no marks. It's just one of the gas check pieces. But I mean, like I said, I did not bring a tape measure out here. So that little target right there is 7 inches in diameter. So we're probably looking at a 10 or 11 inch group there as compared to somewhere 18, 19 or so over here. So we definitely saw some improvement, but man, that is not good for 25 yards. That's not at all what I was expecting to see. Now, is it the gun? Is it the choke? Is it the shells? I really don't know, but all in all, I am pretty disappointed, and this test did not at all go the way I thought it was going to go. All right, y'all. Well, what did you think? I definitely was not expecting it to be that bad. I thought we would at least be able to get some halfway decent groups out to 50. But man, that is not good no matter what way you look at it, really. But what are your thoughts about it? And do you think it's a case of the gun or the choke or the shell or something else? At 25 yards, I mean, if you can't get a slug to at least go where you kind of want it to in some sort of an organized group, that's not good. So what do you guys think went wrong in this test here? Because this is not at all what I was expecting to see. And where do you think we should go from here? Should we keep testing these in some other chokes or something I might have for that gun, or test some different loads, or what? Because this is definitely surprisingly bad. But that just goes to show that I don't show you guys fake results. If it's a good result, I show it. If it's a bad result, I show it. But leave me a comment, let me know your thoughts about it, and I've got another test to run while I'm out here today. So stay tuned, because we've got some more interesting stuff coming. And on that note, I'll see y'all in the next one.